And we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so just a little quick reminder, let's make sure that we have a blanket or a beach towel available for the end of our practice. We're going to use that blanket as a prop to do some restorative and some kind of yin holds for a little bit longer. I'm going to use my blanket right now and just kind of pad up my bum a little bit so I get higher than my hip points. And that helps, you know, tilt my pelvis forward a little bit and get that length in the spine. So go ahead and take a few moments to get comfortable into your seat, whatever that looks like for you, whether legs are out long or they're crossed. I like to say shift the gift, get those cupcakes out of the way so you feel really grounded into the earth. Closing the eyes down, draw the shoulders up towards the ears, and relax them down the back. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose, and an open mouth exhale to sigh it out. Inhale. Exhale, release. One more time, inhale. And exhale, let it go. Keeping the eyes shut down for a few more moments. Let's just do a check-in with the body and see how we're feeling, both physically and mentally. On that next inhale, let's dip the chin down towards the chest. Keep the shoulders rolled away from the ears. Take a nice breath into the back of the neck. Draw a line with the nose up towards the ceiling, opening into the throat. And then release the head back to neutral. Right ear comes over towards that right shoulder. Option to add the hand where you gently press the head over towards that shoulder. So that right hand is draping across right above the temple. And we're not pulling or tugging. We're just adding a little extra gravity here. Reminder to keep that left shoulder away from the ear. And start to bring that hand, if you have it on the head, behind the skull, and just gently press the head down, the chin down, towards that left side. Again, not a lot of pressure, just a little bit. Breathing into the side of the neck, to the back of the head, back of the neck. Keeping the hand at the same point, let's just start to open the chin up towards the ceiling on the opposite side. So now we're starting to gaze up and over towards the right side. Keep that length in the spine and take another breath here. If you're holding on to the head, release the hand from the head. And bring that head back to neutral. Before we switch to that other side, let's draw the shoulders up towards the ears and relax them down the back. Draw the shoulders up towards the ears and roll them down the back. One more time, shoulders come up, around, and release. Now working on that opposite side, bring that left ear over towards that left shoulder. You can just work into the neck without the hand, but if you'd like to invite that extra prop here, bring that left hand just right above the ear on the side. Again, no pulling or tugging, just a little extra pressure and gravity. Check in with that lower half of the body and see if you're starting to tense it up, and if you can release it and let it relax down. Walk the hand right behind the skull. And then we'll dip the chin in and over towards that right shoulder. Long, deep breaths. If you have that hand involved, go ahead and keep it cradling the back of the skull as we press into the palm and take a peek up and over now towards that same shoulder that we're holding on to. So up towards the right with the chin. And then gently remove the hand from the head comes back up to neutral. Taking shoulders now, rolling them forward and down the chest. Inhale, draw them up. Exhale, release them forward. One more time, draw them up and release them down. Nice job. Go ahead and dip that chin down towards the chest. Last little bit of movement into the neck. Let's find a few neck rolls here, whether they're half neck rolls or full neck rolls. Just find what is working for you in your practice. Be slow and mindful, very gentle with the neck. And if you are practicing full neck rolls, the next time that chin meets chest, let's reverse to the opposite side. Head comes back up to neutral. Let's bring those palms up to the top of the shoulders, 4 fingers in the front, and that thumb snuggles into the back of the shoulder. Starting off very slowly, we're just going to twist over towards that right side, center the body, and then twist to the left. With your breath, we're moving slow to start with. Inhale as you come around to the twist. Exhale to center, and inhale to that opposite side. Following the movement with your breath. Starting to pick up the cadence just a little bit. Draw that belly button in towards spine so we can still engage in the abdominals here while we start to get into this upper part of the body. Picking up the pace just a little bit more. Head stays in line with spine as we twist. And when you're complete on both sides, go ahead and come back to center, release the shoulders down. Draw the shoulders up towards the ears, pull up on that pelvic floor, squeeze everything in tight, hold the breath. And with a great big open mouth exhale, release and let it go. Let's do that again. Draw everything up nice and tight. Pull up on that pelvic floor, bring that belly button in towards spine, squeeze here. Release, let it go. Do that one more time. Shoulders roll up towards the ears. Squeeze, hold, and release and let it go. Bring those arms down to the side, give it a little bit of a shake out. Be a little silly with it. Maybe bringing the hands above the head. Getting that blood flow going. Shake, 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 shake. And then hands come down on top of the knees. Start to roll through the spine a little bit, bringing that chest forward, and then rolling back. Think of these as seated cat-cows, using that arm strength really onto the hands so that we can get into the back nice and deep here. As we inhale, we roll forward, lift that chin, and come back. Couple more times. So we articulate through the spine, starting from that tailbone all the way up and through. And then press ourselves back up to seated. Now finding a little bit of a twist in our lower part of our spine. Let's bring that chest over towards that right side, then to the left, and rotate all the way up and through. A few times drawing these nice big circles all the way around the body. Using this posture, this movement, not just to wake up the spine and the hip flexors, also to wake up our digestive system. And the next time that we're upright, we'll switch directions to the other side. Maybe starting to come down a little bit lower. You can always use the palms to press those thighs open just a little bit more. A few more of these rotations. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Pause here for a moment with the eyes shut down, just feeling that energy that we're creating in the body. And then we'll go ahead and move into our next posturing. We're going to come around into our gate pose, but we'll start in that kneeling position. You can use that blanket to pad up the knees. We're not going to be here super long, but go ahead and come onto those knees into that kneeling position. Straightening that left leg out to the side, right knee stays bent. So there's options here with that foot. You can either come up onto that ankle and keep, or up on that heel, I should say, and keep those toes flexed. Or you can press the foot down and keep pressing into the pinky toe side of the foot. My foot is actually a little bit asleep from being in an easy pose, so I think I'm going to come up onto my heel for right now. And that back foot, you can keep the toe tucked underneath, or you can keep the flat of the foot down. Let's inhale, sweep the fingertips up nice and tall, grow tall here. Take another deep breath. And then we're just going to float through a couple side body movements here. So bring that hand down, that left hand down towards the knee. Feel the chest open. Getting that nice stretch in the obliques and side body. Inhale, fingertips press up. And then we're going to stay on the side for just a moment. So then come right back down onto that left side. See if we can open up just a little bit more. Inhale on up. And exhale one more time. Come down to that left side. Roll that right shoulder up. And breathe into side body here. Gaze can be down towards the earth. Or it can be up towards the ceiling. Take one more breath. And then really engage in the abdominals to bring the hands back up and release the palms down. Draw that knee in on the side and come into our kneeling position. We're going to step that foot out onto the right side now. So if it comes out, find the way that you would like to plant the foot, whether you're pressing into knife edge or rolling and coming into the heel. Fingertips come up, grow tall here. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Really feel that left knee planted onto the earth. Now shift over towards that left side. Right arm extends overhead. Hand can be right above the knee for this first time, or it can be down a little bit further depending on how open you are. Inhale to sweep up. And exhale back over to that side, maybe a little bit deeper. But we're not collapsing. I don't want all these little rolls in the side of the body. I want to stay tall here. Inhaling up. And one more time, coming on over. Peel that heart open. Bring that shoulder back. Maybe peek up towards the ceiling if it's okay with the neck. Or you can keep the gaze neutral or down towards the ground. Inhale, fingertips sweep up. And exhale, release the hands to the hip line and draw that knee back in towards the body. We're going to find our wide-legged child's pose. So bring those big toes to touch knees wide. I'm going to shift my blanket out of the way here. Take some time though to come down into this child's pose. So press your hands onto the earth and kind of swim side to side a few times, taking your time to release the hands all the way down. The forehead may not come down to the earth. You might even want to use a block, that blanket, or a book underneath the forehead. Invite a little bit of subtle movement here, maybe just shifting a few more times. It might feel good to roll the forehead out onto the mat. And just think about sinking those hips down closer towards the heels. We're going to walk both hands over towards the right side of the mat. Then melt back down into this child's pose. And breathing into the armpit, chest, the shoulder, side body. Gently come back around to center. And then walk over towards that opposite side of the mat. Keeping that forehead down and that breath fluid. Come back around to center the body for a moment. Press into the palms and take your time to rise back up. Walk the knees back underneath the hips and the hands underneath the shoulders. Finding our tabletop position here, keep pressing solidly into the earth. And then we'll tip that tailbone in towards the chest and slowly round into the upper back. Starting at the tailbone, tipping that tailbone back towards the heels and open into the chest. Let's add a little bit of movement here with our feet. So as we start to tuck that tailbone in and round into our cat pose, tuck the toes underneath. So we start to kind of come into a fire toe variation here. Get a nice stretch into the tops of, the bottoms of our feet. And as we dip that belly down, release the tops of the feet down, we come into our cow pose. Let's do that one more time. Tuck those toes underneath as we start to bring that tailbone in, rolling into our cat pose. And then release the tops of the feet back down, release the belly down into our cow pose. Put a bend into the elbows and shift those hips back. Hold and hover here. And then starting again at the tailbone, start to press all the way back forward into our tabletop position. Let's do that one more time. So we're just pressing into the palms. We're not doing anything too special here. We're just bringing those hip points back, bending the elbows, and just rounding into the back. So it's kind of like a kneeling child's pose. Keep those elbows bent. Then straightening the arms and come back forward into that tabletop position. Extend that left foot long behind, tuck the toe underneath. Let's go ahead and rock back and forth a few times. Again, feeling into the fascia of the foot. And that nice stretch here. Coming into some stillness and keep pressing that heel down towards the back of the mat. Pressing evenly into the shoulders. Take a breath here. Should feel a nice isolated stretch into the shin and into the calf muscle here. Roll forward onto the toe. And then we're going to gently walk that foot over that bent knee. So it's coming long behind. And then we're going to peek over the right shoulder towards that extended leg. Keep pressing firmly into both hands. And then draw that foot back around, bend the knee. Let's turn the hands gently either to the side or towards the body themselves. And then we're just gonna find a couple little gentle sways, shifting the hips side to side, little barrel rolls. And also a nice little stretch into the hands and into the wrists. So it's entirely up to you of how you'd like to have those hands. I just find that if I bring them out to the side or towards the body, I get a little stretch there instead of just having them in that traditional facing forward. A little double duty here, getting into the hands as well as the hips. Coming back around to center, you can turn those hands back towards the front of the mat. Taking that right foot down and behind. Keep that leg straight and keep the ball of the foot down onto the earth. Find a little rocking movement back and forth here. Really that nice stretch across the bottom of the foot. And then into some stillness, really pressing the heel down. Make sure not to lock the knee out though. Bring a nice stretch along the leg. Roll forward onto the toe mound, walk the foot behind that bent knee and take a peek over the shoulder towards that extended leg. Keep pressing into the foot and pressing firmly into both hands. Walk that knee back around, place it onto the earth. And then find what you would like to do with the hands. You can maybe come up onto fists, or you can point those away from the body or towards the body, whatever feels good, and we'll shift the hips side to side to the opposite direction. Do these barrel rolls and wrist stretches. One more time. And then centering the body, walk the fingertips forward and walk the handprints, one handprint up, tuck those back toes underneath, raise the knees up off of the earth, and then very slowly peel up into downward facing dog. Take a moment to pedal out the feet here and nod the head out. Just finding any gentle movement that feels good for you. Coming into stillness, take a peek at the front of the mat and a little stroll all the way up to meet in forward fold. And this first forward fold of our practice, it might feel good to keep a generous bend into the knees. Might feel good to sway side to side, or maybe even to hold on to the elbows so we can release and get some traction into the back and let that past just melt down. Any worries, any troubles, just to float off of the back and let it go. If you are clasping the elbows, release them now and find a halfway lift, flat back. Melt back down, forward fold. Press into the feet, bend into the knees, and then sweep the hands all the way up, tall mountain. Keep the hands above the head for just a moment here. Another deep inhale. And then that exhale, cactus the heart open. Bring those elbows out to the side. Round and gather, bring those palms together. Tuck the chin in towards the chest. Inhale, bring the palms together at heart center. And then press the palms, gaze follows as we raise up. And then out to the side into a cactus shape. And tuck chin. Round and gather, bring those hands towards each other in the front. And then back into heart center. One more time with this robin's breath variation. Fingertips raise up. Exhale out, cactus wide. Open that chest and that heart. Round in, tuck the chin in, palms come towards each other. And then gentle the palms back into heart center. Bring the thumbs to the sternum and roll the shoulders away from the ears. Pause here for just a breath. Inhaling. And exhale to release. On that next inhale, let's draw that right hand above the head. And we're just going to create a little crescent shape as that left hand comes around. So now we're creating like a ball. We're holding this great big moon. That left hand is along the hip line as that right hand reaches above the head. Alternating that circle, bringing that opposite arm around and sassing that hip a little bit out to the side, opening into side body. Let's do that one more time each side. Rotate this big ball all the way around. And then to the other side. Coming back up to center, release the hands down and roll the shoulders away from the ears one time. Walk the feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. We're going to take the thumbs and hook them like little butterfly wings. So hooking the thumbs here. Bring the fingertips up and a little bit of a back bend, bringing it above the head. Bending into the knees, we're going to sweep our little butterfly wings down and then up. With your own breath, floating down with these fingers, with these butterfly wing fingers, and coming up, maybe a little bit more of a back bend. And continue releasing the spine, stretching into the legs back. Few more times. Maybe getting a little bit more mobility. And coming into that back bend just a little bit more. Coming all the way back up. And release the clasp of those thumbs and the shoulders down the back. Walk the feet back to about hip width apart again. We're going to keep that right foot forward left, but we'll step back and find our warrior one position. So that back foot is on a railroad track. It's not lining up with the front foot. That way we can keep those hips. You can take the hands to the hips, shining forward. So that back foot is at about a 45-degree angle, goes up to that corner of the mat in the front. Roll the shoulders away from the ears, and then bring the hands to about shoulder height here. Bending into that front knee just a little bit more so we get that stretch and opening into the hip flexor. So we're going to find a couple twists here. Check in and make sure you're not gripping in those toes too tight. Right hand stays forward as that left hand floats back. Inhale to center, and exhale, open to the other side. So we're keeping those shoulders and those hips towards the front of the mat, and we're rotating the arms around. Open to the other side, back to center, open to the other side, back to center. Now raise the fingertips up, grow tall here, sink down into that knee. So this is not a back bend. And take a breath here. Shift the chest forward, fingertips float back, bowing now. Inhale to sweep up tall. And exhale to bow forward. Inhaling up. And exhale, release the hands down to the hip line. Pivot the toes so they're to the wide edge of the mat. Take one deep breath here. And then we're going to interlace the hands behind as we start to bring that chest forward. Hold in a halfway lift. Checking in to make sure you're not locking the knees out. And holding on to those fists and keeping them away from the body, rolling the shoulders away. Let's bow down just a little bit more and maybe press those hands away further from the body. Shift the body over towards that right foot. Tick-tock to center, and then shift over towards that opposite foot. Back around to center, release the clasp of the hands, and find a beautiful wide-legged forward fold here. Feel that tingling in the arms. And check about the weight distribution in the feet. Make sure that we're not shifting too far forward or too far back into the heels. Take one more breath in this wide-legged forward fold. And then walk the hands forward, find a halfway lift. Melt back down one more time. Hands come to the top of the thighs, tuck that tailbone down, and slowly round all the way up. Zipping the legs back together, let's meet at the front of the mat. We're going to repeat that onto the other side. So now that left foot will stay forward. Right foot's going to step back into our warrior one here. Find that alignment that's working for you. You can shorten up that stance if you'd like, or widen, no wider than leg width apart, so about the same width as your leg. Bending into that front knee, but not coming over those toes. Fingertips come up this time for once, and then shift so that we have those shoulders and those hips facing forward. Bring the arms down, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Palms are facing towards each other, and our shoulders are at shoulder height. Let's open up now, taking that right hand out and back to center. Keep pressing into that knee as we open the left hand, keeping those arms long and wide. Back to center. Again, open out. Back to center. Open to the other side. Back around to center. Fingertips sweep up again. Not a back bend, so we want to grow tall here. Keep those shoulders away from the ears. Bend into that front knee as we shift the chest forward. Hands come back. Again, sweeping up. Keep bending into that knee. We're building strength here, growing tall, and shifting forward. And raising back up. Release the hands to the hip line. And we're going to pivot the feet so we're on the wide edge of the mat. I'm going to turn so I don't have my movie to you. So nice wide-legged or wide legs again. Take the hands behind. This time when we interlace the fingers, bring that opposite thumb on top. So the one that we don't naturally go with. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and bring those palms, that fist, away from the body. Think about squaring up the wrists here so that we can help protect our elbows and our wrists. Shift the chest forward, not locking out the knees. Let's find that half lift. Take a few breaths here and continue to press those palms away from the glutes and those shoulders away from the ears. Release down into that forward fold. Hands are still clasped together. Let's just shift over towards that left foot. Come back around to center, and then shift over towards that right foot. Back around to center. Release the clasp of the hands and let them waterfall down into this wide-legged forward fold. Take a few moments here to breathe. Then walk the hands forward, find that half lift. Melt back down, forward fold. Hands come to the top of the thighs, tuck that tailbone under, and slowly take your time to rise back up. Walk the feet back together again at the front of the mat. Go ahead and just do a little bit of a rock and roll out through the feet. Then one more nice shoulder opener here. We're going to roll the shoulders down away from the ears, and we're gently going to bring that left hand across the body and hold on to it. So cradle that bicep here. And if you would like to, you can even wrap that hand around and hug into the back of the shoulder. Keep those shoulders down though, so that line is across the chest. It's not hiking up into the throat area. Make sure to not lock out the bottom knee or the bottom half of the body. And really breathe here. Keep that shoulder down. And slowly start to raise those arms up, taking the arms above the head, holding on to each one of the elbow points. Roll the shoulders back, and then we'll tick-tock over towards that right side of the mat. Come back up to center, and then back again over towards that right side. Back towards center, and one more time to the right side. Hold here, peel that heart open. Staying over towards that right side, we're gonna just very slowly shift forward all the way down, drawing these big sun circles, sunflower circles, releasing down and back up. One more time, rolling through and back up. Release the clasp of the hands and bring those arms out nice and wide again. A little pedal out in the feet. We want to remind ourselves to stay buoyant in our lower half. We don't want to be walking out. We want that blood flow and air flow through the entirety of the body. Centering again, let's now take that right hand across the body, cradle the bicep, and just rest it gently here. So not tugging or pulling with that assisting hand. It's just there for an extra guidance. You can always tuck that hand around and give a little hug here, or you can keep the hand extended. Just keep reminding that shoulder that it doesn't need to come up into the throat area. You want to stay level with the chest here. Take a few breaths. How does this side differ than the other? I noticed on the other side, I felt a little bit more sensation, more stretch there. And when that happens, when one side feels like it needs a little extra stretching, stay there for a few breaths. That way we can start to even out the body. So coming back up with the palms, holding on to each one of the elbows, grow tall here and bring those elbows above the head. Then we're going to sass that hip out on that left side as we come over towards the right. Inhale up. Exhale. Create a little crescent shape here, dipping down. Coming back up. And one more time over towards that left side of the mat, opening here. Staying towards the side, let's just start to dip forward, drawing into great big circles. Our sunflowers all the way around. And one more time. Come back up and release the cross of the arms. And just feel for a moment, hopefully a little bit more opening into the shoulders and into the chest. We're going to come down onto the earth again. Inhale, fingertips come up. Exhale, melt all the way down, forward fold. Palms come down onto the earth. Let's step that right foot back. And then release the knee down. Finding a lunge here, a low lunge for just a moment. Getting a little bit more into our hip flexors here. Walk the hands to the inside of the leg and then start to walk that left foot out to the side. Keep the knee in line with the ankle. And even if you want more, you can roll onto the outside of that foot. But again, keep that knee in line. Start to walk the hands away from that bent knee. So I'm walking over towards the right side of the mat and keep pressing firmly into that foot that's on the earth. Stretching into the hip as well as the inner thigh and our groin area. Keeping that right hand onto the earth, let's take that left hand to the inside of the leg and we just open up just a little bit more. And then release the palm down. Come back to center with the hands and tiptoe that foot back so that we're framing the front foot. Tuck back toe underneath, raise the knee up off of the earth. Step that front foot to meet back foot. Downward facing dog for just a transition here. Now bring that right foot forward. Oops, nope, I'm on the wrong side. Bring that opposite foot forward. Oh, I forgot, I'll twist it up there. Bring that left foot down, right foot forward, left knee down. Gosh, just totally lost it there for a minute. And find our low lunge here for just a breath. And into our lizard variation, we're going to walk the hands to the center. And stay right here if this is enough of an opening and stretch. Or start to walk away from the body and walking that foot away the opposite direction. Always that option to come onto the knife edge of that foot, but keep that knee in line with the ankle. Breathe deep. Left hand is going to stay down onto the earth as we bring that right hand into the right thigh and press ourselves open here. Using that hand to guide that hip flexor open just a little bit more. Release the palms down, walk it to center, walk that foot back into center. Tuck that back toe underneath, raise the knee up off of the earth, and step that front foot back. And we come back into our tabletop position. Swim those legs around. And let's go ahead and get a hold of that beach towel or that blanket that we have handy here. So I'm going to create a little roll here. We're coming down to our more restorative portion. So we did some exploring, now we're going to do some restoring. I'm going to create a little circle, a little roll with my blanket. And so you'll find over time, like what is working for your body. This may be too much when we come into our back bends, and then you'll just simply take a couple of those rolls out. So taking this nice roll, I'm going to place it at the base of my spine here. So it's going to be on the length of the spine, and going to bend into the knees, and slowly lower yourself down onto the elbows. Pause here, see if that blanket is exactly where you want it to be. And then lower all the way down, using that blanket as support. Roll the shoulders down and away, as if you're just opening the chest and melting. You're gonna think about giving a reverse hug here into that prop behind you. Take a few really deep, great breaths. Open up the heart center. Breathe into this back bend. This beautiful supine relaxation. We're going to be here for just another moment. If this is the way that is feeling awesome for you, stay here with the knees bent and the soles of the feet down on the earth. I'm going to offer a variation of bringing the soles of the feet into our reclined butterfly, our supine butterfly, and bringing the knees out to the side. So soles of the feet are together. And again, relax those shoulders so that they're kind of hugging that prop beneath us. And if you'd like it to be super restorative, you can always stack some blocks or some books right underneath the knees. Or you can just stay with those knees bent like we had them originally. Take any tension out of the face. See if you can allow gravity to do the work to open up the body. Here for just 3 more long, deep breaths. Take the hands to the outside of the thighs and gently help assist pressing them back together. We're going to roll over and away from this prop and then gently come back up to seated for just a moment to find our next posturing with this blanket roll. So I'm going to keep my blanket rolled on the same level, and I'm going to place it underneath my sacrum, but this time it's going to be on the cross side of the spine instead of the length side of the spine. So I'm placing it right beneath my sacrum, so right above my glutes. Rolling back down and keeping those knees bent. So again, think of this as a supported bridge pose that we're using the blanket or that towel instead. And again, if this feels like it's too high, then go ahead and take one of those rolls out. Ideally, I would like this to be in that nice little curvature, so that nice little open space here in my back. So the glutes, my booty is draped down below it, and then my back is arched over here. Just notice how this feels in this back bend. And then keeping that left foot firmly onto the ground and that knee bent, we're going to straighten out the right leg long and down. Take that right hand, so same hand is going to stretch above the head. You should feel this nice opening and stretch into the front of that hip flexor. You kind of start to get into the side body. Stay for just another breath here. And if this is feeling too intense, you can just take that blanket roll away from the body and get the same effect by being down onto your mat. Let's find a little crescent shape here. So I'm going to walk both my hand and my foot over towards that opposite side of the mat. So not so much that I'm stretching that I'm getting the back out of alignment, but I want to feel this nice opening into side body and into the obliques and actually into that psoas as well. Psoas, a nice muscle that's along the spine. A really important part of our abdominals. Bring both the hand and the foot back around to center. Bend the knee and release that palm down. Just notice here, kind of wiggle a little bit into the hips before we go to that other side. So now on the opposite side, we're going to extend the hand and extend the leg long. So same arm and the same leg extend long. Just take a few breaths here and feel that nice opening. I really feel this in the front of that hip flexor. It feels nice after hiking yesterday. You can stay here if this is exactly what is right for your body, or you can create that crescent shape by bringing both the palm and that foot over towards that opposite side of the mat. Deep breathing. Come back around to the center with that arm and that leg. Bend the knee, release the palm down. Press into the feet and slowly bring those hip points up and remove that blanket roll from underneath. Relax that sacrum back down on the earth, and hopefully you feel a little bit more space here, some opening into the back. Go ahead and bring those knees in towards the chest, give them a little squeeze and hug here. We can start to draw circles in one direction and then the other. Release the soles of the feet down onto the earth. We're gonna go ahead and go into a twist on each side and then find our Shavasana. So one more posture on each side, extending that right foot long down towards the mat again. We're going to take a hold of that left knee, bring it in towards the chest, and then draw that leg across the body, cactusing the arm on that right side out, either into a cactus shape or a T shape out to the side, and gently using that right hand to guide that left knee across. Take a few breaths here. Breathing into the twist. Take your time to unwind, come back to center, snuggle that knee back in towards the chest once more, and then bring it off to the side, bringing that knee down in towards the rib cage, in towards the armpit side. Just giving an opening now into the groin area. Now releasing that knee down and straightening the leg out long. So left leg is out long as we draw that right knee in and snuggle it in towards the body. Taking a hold of that knee with that opposite hand, draw it across the body over towards that left side. Right hand can come into a T or a cactus shape as we gaze over the shoulder. Make sure that we're not doing any too much extra pulling or twisting so deep that we can't breathe. Trying to keep that opposite shoulder down on the earth. Very slowly center the hips back onto the earth. Draw that knee back in towards the body with both hands, and then bring that knee over towards that same armpit. So same knee, same armpit area on the right side. Slowly release the knee. And then just find any other movement before we find our final resting pose, our Shavasana. And when you're ready, melt down onto your mat, allowing the feet to fall out to the side, the heels towards each other, and tuck the shoulders underneath, palms turned up in a state of surrender. Let's take a deep inhale. And then exhale, let it go. Feeling the effects of our practice wash over the body. And start to find some gentle movement. Bringing yourself back to this present moment. Pulling out wrists and ankles. Twiddling fingers and toes. And lastly, extend the hands overhead. Stretch the toes down towards the base of the mat. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And with a great big release, let go with that breath in the body. Walk the soles of the feet onto the earth, knees bent. Rotate over into your fetal position, pausing for just another moment. Press into that top arm for support as we come back up into our seated position. Take one moment here to bring the palms into heart center, press them together and the shoulders away from the ears. Closing our practice today with one more inhale and exhale out. Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your practice and energy. Hope you have a fantastic rest of the day ahead. Namaste.
Awesome, thank you.
You are so welcome.